We've got Michael Strecco, Ray Hoffman, Michael Gray, and Aussie webmaster, who I just met last night, Frank Watson. And so one of the things we're going to do in this panel is analyze your site. Ray, talk about this.
We're actually going to look at your site. So if you guys have a site that you want us to look at and give you some SEO advice on, we need you to hand your business cards into Chris. We'll try and get to as many as we can. However, the URL of the site you want us to look at has to be on your business card, because otherwise, for all we know, you're giving us a competitor's site, and we don't really want to out your competitors. So.
Word. So I'm going to collect these. So if you just get those ready, I'll run around and snap those. You guys do what you want.
Okay.
So.
That's the rule.
All right. Word.
Any takers?
We actually need sites to review for an SEO site review clinic. So.
Well, here's the first one.
Yeah, we have one.
What do we get there?
So I take it I get to use the.
I'm trying to give you a freaking test center.
URL?
Gearbuyer.com. It's on the back of the thing.
My marginal cost is 0.
Spelling might be correct. I hate Windows. God. Sorry.
How many people do you want to stuff there on the front page? Are you running it through?
Yeah, I popped it in.
Who owns the site? So what's your main search terms?
We just do broadest term, long tail advertising for all sporting goods that exist.
So ultimately you'd like to rank for sporting goods, or?
Well, we rank for everything from North Face to golf clubs.
Well, if you already ranked them, what's the problem?
Well, it's supposed to be destiny.
Well, do you land people on the homepage?
What's that?
First off, do you land people on the
Generally not.
homepage?
We land directly on our product pages.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That'll be
because I
plenty.
mean, the homepage is pretty busy. And if it's all about conversion, you try to get them to a page that's obviously a little less crowded, less noise.
You said you rank for golf clubs?
No, for the individual products. So it'd be like brand name products.
So you rank all long tail, but you don't rank on any of the generic keywords?
Exactly.
Okay, that helps. Sorry, just give us a second here.
What about buy golf clubs?
It's got 70,000. That's how many pages, but why does he only got 3 index?
Strecco, you want to go over the title tag on the homepage while I'm looking for some stuff? Sorry guys, I'm used to using a Mac, so.
It's got 700,000 pages.
Do you really have 700,000 pages?
Yeah, more.
Okay.
And only 414 inbound links?
Yeah,
No one likes you?
not really.
Where do you get your feed from?
All the individual stores.
And you're not rewriting them, right?
In what sense?
Or you're using the exact feed that they're handing you?
Well, we actually crawl their sites too. So
This is
we
all-
ag
what's going on?
the crawl of their sites with a bunch of their reviews, take those onto the product.
So you're copying all their content?
Amount of diversity in LinkedIn.
What's the Wi-Fi?
Why that face?
No idea.
So when you get an affiliate data feed, the problem is that when you, and we tell, so if there's any merchants in the room, I would normally advise to you that if you're going to give your affiliates a data feed, you give them a separate data feed from the one that you use. So you have one for your site and then one that you give out to all of your affiliates. And they can all have a duplicate feed all they want because that's on the affiliate to change it after that. So the issue comes down to duplicate content. So when Google sees 2 sites that have the same content, it'll try and decide which site it thinks is the originator of the content, which site actually produced the content, and that's the page that it will tend to show first for that. So when I do a search in Google and I do a search for, now that's, ooh, I didn't know McAfee arbed. Look at that.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's something else for an SEO conference, sorry. But so when you go through that, you can see like Trailspace ranks, Wikio ranks, you guys rank, there's a bunch of other people. So usually, now I'm not saying that you have to rewrite the entire data feed, so I'll give you, I can give an example if they want an example. So for instance, how many of you guys work with Pepperjam Network? How many of you guys work with data feeds? Okay, so this is a site that we've done it's a site that my company owns. We totally generate this site outside of 40 pages. Anything from the product pages is generated from a Pepperjam product feed. So what we did was, let's just say that we have the feed on Alpen binoculars, right? So we wrote unique content for this, but when you scroll down to the bottom, there's a way that you can look for Alpex binoculars by series. So this is all, we wrote unique content. So those first 2 paragraphs are actually unique content that we wrote for every single individual brand landing pages. We only have about 25 of those, so that's not a problem. When you get down into the individual pairs of binoculars, it starts to become more of a problem because we don't want to have to rewrite 4,000 product descriptions by hand. So sometimes if you take the data feed and you just change up the way that the information's shown, and if you can combine it with crawling a merchant site for specific information and then rearranging that information, you'll have a lot better information. So in other words, all we got when we got this feed was we got this small little image here. We got the list price and the sale price. We got this little description that you see right there, those 2 paragraphs. None of the rest of this was in here. None of the rest of this stuff that was down here was in here. So what we did was we took the brand name, used it as the title tag. This was originally also, the feed was separated by type. So they were separated by like hunting binoculars, birding binoculars. So what we did was we redid the feed so they were separated by brand. So we're displaying them differently than all other affiliates by default. Then what we did was we scraped the merchant site to get anything that we call package info, which is stuff that's not copyrighted. If we actually had a package of the product, we would get all the information that was on there. So we scraped the larger version of the picture that they have, which you'll get that if you click to enlarge. We actually took the descriptions and we read about 30 of them and realized that we could change the order of the paragraphs without changing the meaning of the description. So it allowed us to change up the content a tiny bit. The detailed product specifications, that was something that we crawled off their site. They were displaying it based on importance. We display it alphabetically so that it's just in a different order, so it looks more unique. This stuff, again, was stuff that we scraped from their site, mixed it up, and then we created a related product feature, and that actually pulls it based on like hunting versus birding, so it pulls it from a different category. And then we have the ability for people to leave reviews. I would highly suggest that if you're pulling reviews off other sites, that when you start to replace them with reviews of your own, you start to get rid of the reviews from the other sites to give yourselves more unique content. But so when you work with data feeds, it's very important that either you create unique content to complement the data feed or that you actually rework the data feed as much as possible. For the record, that site ranks top 10 for binoculars, and it's less than 8 months. We've had it for less than 8 months. So it works when you feed the engines unique content. It also works because when people come to the site, they feel like they're not just looking at another shopping.com or opinions.com.
The next page, go back to men's footwear and pick the actual product. Because I think we do basically the same thing you just showed right there. So we put in all the descriptions, we have all the prices, we do the videos.
Right, but where are you taking this word for word from another site, you said, correct?
Well, we take it from whatever feed they put out there. So do you guys rewrite your 4,000 descriptions?
Oh, no, we don't rewrite the descriptions, but we reword the way they're and we reword the order that they're displayed in. We add things in that we've made. So like the related product feature, they don't have that in the feed. They don't have a way to say related products. So we just created that. But instead of taking all other products from the same brand, we take them from the same type so that it changes up the content on the page. Because the problem that you're going to have, especially when you're trying to rank long tail, is that if you have the same exact content on your page that every other site has, Google's going to decide which one it thinks is the original, and that's the one who's going to get most of the credit for that content. So in your case, I would either work on, because when I did some searches, other sites are coming up before yours, which means Google does not consider yours the original, at least not on that particular page. There's probably a few where it does, but I would get in there and rewrite the data feed, or just smartly change up the way, like, oh, when you get home, go to that binocular site, it literally, and then go sign up for Pepperjam, sign up for their program, download the feed, and you'll see the difference between what was actually in that feed and what we've been able to add and kind of reword and move around. So, sorry.
Just looking at your site, I don't see a huge amount of backlinks, and that's probably just because there's not enough unique content there. Again, like you said, you're using the data feed that's out there, so there's no compelling reason for people to link. Can you pull up a Quark-based tab on him?
A what?
Quarkbase.com?
You're gonna have to come do that. I don't know what you're. I am sorry. I'm a kind of paper type.
I think, you know, there's a couple ways to get here. Probably the easiest way is to create some compelling editorial content. Put his domain in the box there.
Oh, you want to see his?
Yeah, put his domain in the thing there.
I got it.
All right, you got it. Go for it. Oh, in there. I got you.
Scroll down mid-page. Scroll down, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Right in there. Now you see there's no, these are other people who are linking to you using some of the other different services out there, people who bookmark you on Delicious, Dig, or any of that sort of stuff. There's nothing that you're doing that's interesting, and that kind of matches your link profile, that there's not a lot of people who are linking to you. There's some Blogspot people who've given you some site links and that sort of thing, and that's showing up, and that's what's dominant. You need to get some other links from other people, so you're going to need, and if your products aren't unique enough, you're going to need to get some sort of creative editorial content in there that's going to create people to link, let people link to you.
I would say. Sorry,
A good example is the guy that did the blender, that puts everything in the blender.
Will it blend?
Yeah. I mean, that sort of thing. If you're looking particularly in sports products, you can really play with something to get, you know, viral information, you know, to your site.
And the markup on I looked at the markup on that page, actually your homepage and your product pages, still using a table-based layout. For what it's worth, I don't think that this is like a primary determinant factor, like the inbound linking seriously gonna, you know, crush that. But one thing that you can do is make sure that you're using standardized, like, current markup structures, not utilizing tables for your layout structure, because, I mean, with my theme thesis, we do a lot of, I know, it's ridiculous. I'm not trying to
Shameless
pitch it.
plug.
I'm not, no, it's not like that. But we do a lot of testing with different keywords and new sites, old sites, and seeing how, you know, search engines respond. And we're getting unsandboxed, or, you know, we're getting a lot of credit for inbound links and actually showing up top 10 on sites that are less than 2 months old. And I think that a lot of the reason for that is strictly for two reasons. Number one, we use standardized markup. And number two, we involve the use of newer technologies like micro formats. And Google can use this. If you think about it from Google's perspective, that tells you more, micro formats and things like that tell you more about specific areas of the page. So they can say, oh, this area is more important. If a link exists in this part of the page, we'll give this more credence. And that kind of thing's certainly going on.
And we added micro formats to our product with the H product, the H reviews. Have you found a good tool that validates those are actually out there and they're working, or just kind of hand waving?
I think they're still working documents. I don't know if there are validators.
Yeah, right. And right now, to my knowledge, that program is invite only. So I don't think that it's a random thing that they take at the moment. You have some serious duplicate content issues on this site.
Well, it's all duplicate content from the store.
No. In addition to you feeding them duplicate content from the stores, you're also feeding them duplicate content from your own site. So there's no way that you're like, I do a search for one URL and I'm returning several results for the same URL. So you're feeding the content the same pages under different URLs, and the problem is that Google's not smart enough to realize that they're all the same URL. So first off, this is advice for anybody in here. When you see a URL that's like that, gearbuyer.com/bc/cam campaign /cycling/tires/index.html. Don't render your index.html pages. Have them automatically put in a global, via HT access, put in a global redirect rule that'll automatically redirect them to the root of that page, because what'll end up happening is that, and this goes the same for every site, and I'm sorry if some of you know what canonical issues are, but I'm going to assume most affiliate guys are PPC guys mainly. So what happens is that when you have domain.com, and then you have domain.com/ and you have domain.com/index.php. On the server, those are all the same page, so they render the same exact page, but to Google, those are 3 separate URLs. Now, they've gotten a lot better at figuring that out, and if you go to Webmaster Tools, you can actually specify it. I would recommend that you always do it in your HT access and then go specify it in Google, but always do it on your own server first. So basically, what you're doing is, in addition to feeding them the page of just /tires/, you're also feeding them /tires/index.html. And then the other thing that you're doing is, I don't know what that question mark size left is, but those should not be indexable by the search engines. So
They are, because this is our general search page. So you can find jackets in size large, jackets in size medium.
Yeah, but the issue becomes is that Google does not want to index search pages. They want to index a page about the tires, and if somebody wants to come there and find small, medium, or large, you can have that information on your main tires page, but they don't want a page for your large, for your medium, and for your small. They want one page for the product, and the user can have that all they want. So what you would need to do is go into your robots text file. You would do a disallow colon space star question mark size equals star, and then basically what it'll do is it'll prevent Google from indexing the content on any pages that have that question mark size equals left, or if it says question mark size equals right, etc. So you need to go in and find what all the URL strings where you're producing that question mark type content and tell Google that it's not allowed to index it. You can render it to the users any way you want, but by giving it to Google that way, you're going to cause yourself a lot of problems. So.
Yeah, I think it's very important to distinguish between user facing pages and what you send to the search engines. Like there's a definite distinction there. Users require different things. Search engines want, you want to send as much lean mass as you can to the search engines and give the user whatever tools they need to find what they need.
Would you use the base tag to sort of specify this is supposed to be this page regardless of the query string and all that?
That's
The rel canonical
rel
tag?
tag.
It's fairly new, and I haven't seen it proven to have a tremendous effect. It definitely will help, but you want to try and feed them the good stuff so that you want to try and remove them making the decisions as much as you possibly can. If you can say, give them the good stuff and saying, here, this is the stuff that people use this, but you don't need to see it, that you're in a much better situation rather than let them try and figure it out.
You don't want to depend on Google or any search engine, because that's the other thing too, is rel canonical, is that all three of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to depend that every single engine is going to read it correctly. I would just much rather, that's why I said with Webmaster Central, even though you can specify canonical things via there, I would always do it via HT access. So did you guys have anything else other than, you do need content, you massively need links, you need to fix up all of your indexing issues, and you need to change up your feed. Just try and figure out intelligent ways. Like I said, like the binocular site, I don't usually give out examples. We're not in an SEO conference, so I'm letting my guard down a little bit. But I would check out that site because seriously, it's probably one of the better data feed sites that we've ever put out. So, who is Shop for Museums? Okay.
Shop for museum.
Mm-hmm.
Shop for museums.com.
And I'm sorry, guys, I know I talk really fast. I'm from Jersey, I can't help it. Do you own the misspellings of this, by the way?
What's that?
Do you own like Shop for Museum spelled wrong?
We don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to register right now.
Yeah, especially museum. Everyone spells museum. Where does the E go? Where does the U go?
Yeah, so same thing for you, the canonical issues, you need to take care of that and have your URLs show up one way and one way only.
Okay, so that's the extra.
That's that www versus without a www versus with a slash with an index.
Doesn't have a robots text.
And sorry, to be honest with you, every single one of you is probably going to hear that advice, so next time we'll just say.
You don't have a
Canonical
robots
stuff.
file so that you're not able to control whatever the search engine is looking for. Even if you're not blocking anything, I can't ever think of a site where you don't need something, but I suppose you could, in theory, have one. You should just always have a blank robots file just so you're not throwing the 404s for no reason.
Okay, so we need a robots file.
Yeah.
Robots.txt file.
What do you do?
Sells museums.
We are a loyalty fundraising site, so people shop through us and create a donation back to an organization of their choice.
So like to museums?
People shop major stores, and then the donation.
Real or
goes
is it
back.
fake? What's charity?
Okay, so you're basically a My Points, but all you donate to is like to museums. Okay, sorry, just trying to figure out what you do.
You got a lot of link love.
With your navigation up at the top, you should look into putting alt and title tags on the links and the images.
Whoa, these are images? And not CSS?
They should be CSS.
The nav should be served by CSS.
No.
The stuff on the right could be images, like the eBay thing, like those can be images with alt tags, but the nav bar should certainly be CSS based.
What are you
It can
looking?
still be image based, but served through
She's
CSS.
got
What are you trying to rank for?
.orgs.
Museums, arts, that's what
That's not going to convert.
I mean, what what's going good for us so far is that all of our museums come up and they usually drive the people to our site. Fill it.
Okay, so you're trying to rank for the museum names.
Yeah.
Discovery
Probably
Museum,
that's the
Dixon
best thing
Museum.
happening naturally.
Who did all your link building?
Well, you got a nice bit of .org links there and .govs. I'm liking that.
Can you click on one of the museum names so I can?
Yeah, hold on.
It's okay, you want to sell that
So,
This is where we put our unique content, but I don't think any of these pages are linking or are showing up and having any kind of, they're really not being seen. So what I'm trying to find out is there a way that we're putting that content in that the search engines are not picking it up? Like is it in a table or something that, bear with me, I'm not technical.
no worries. Michael, do you want to go over, look at the URL string for the museums, Aubrey, right?
Which one are you?
The URL strings for the individual museums are museuminfo.aspx ? Museum ID equals 362, and there's like 4 parameters in the
Where are
URL.
you? Hold on.
What did you click on to get there?
I just want to see.
Click on up at the top, there's museum partners, and then just click on one of their names.
Well, the emails are at the top.
How many museum partners do you have?
1,000 or so?
I don't see it.
As far as unique content, what's actually the unique content that's on every page? Same paragraph with the museum name change?
No, each museum gives us content that they want up for that page.
Okay, when we go to each of the individual museum pages, so basically you've got shopformuseums.com, museuminfo.aspx, ? museum ID equals, AID equals, and old equals, and PLD equals. The more of that stuff you put up there, the more it's more confusing it is for the search engines to try and figure it out because all of those parameters can have different values. You want to try and make it look so that it's museum. If you're going to use them, you want it so that you want to remove the parameters as much as you possibly can. Google and the search engines can understand it, but when you start putting more of them in there, it gets really, really hard, and there's just more and more introduction for them to get things messed up because sometimes a programmer will make a mistake and they'll put something in the wrong order, and then Google will go and spider the entire thing, and they'll think it's a different URL, and you'll have 5 or 6 different versions of your site out there. So you want to try and get it so that you just get that necessary information. Probably the museum ID is that's probably the base piece, and make it as short as you possibly can.
What does the PID stand for? So if you look down at the bottom of the thing in the bottom left-hand corner, so when I do a search for like the first word and the first paragraph of your thing, the first listing is your main listing, which has museum ID equals 362 and AID and OID and PID, but there's no number. But then the next 2, you'll see suddenly you have numbers, and again, it's feeding the engines duplicate content from your site. So what they're going to do is when they come to your site and they start crawling your site, they're going to go, wait, I got this page, wait, I got this page, wait, I got this page, wait, I got this page. The site is feeding us nothing but the same pages over and over again, so we're just not going to crawl it. So you're probably not getting crawled as well as you would if you mod rewrote those, and whatever's generating that PID. What are you using, a CMS or something to generate this?
I don't know.
I think it's an ASP.NET by the looks of it.
Yeah.
The way you're writing all of your titles, you're putting the name of the store first, and then whatever the page is about. So it's Shop for Museums, About Us, Shop for Museums, Sales and Discounts. I generally prefer to put whatever the individual page is about first, and then whatever the thing is. That's not a universal case. If you're a strong enough brand name, like if you're Coke, okay, you can put Coke first, Coke About Us, but most people, what the page is about is more important. You want to get the more important words to the front. The more words you have in there, the less important they are, and the less Google's going to pay attention to them.
The other thing is, did you mention the title tags? Sorry. That was because I'm looking at. So if you notice, like I'm on 1816 Farmington Quaker Meeting House, all you have is Shop for Museums, : museum info. Every title tag on your site in that area is the same. So automatically generate that so that it'll say Shop for Museums, museum space info. I don't know why you have that as one word. I'm assuming it's just something being generated from the URL string. But museum space info, and I would actually reverse that. I would put the museum name and then put museum info, Shop for Museums. To be honest with you don't even really need Shop for Museums in your title tag, but I don't know if you have a boss, but if it makes him feel better, he can leave it there, but put it on the end. But that needs to have a unique title tag on every single page. I'm also going to take a guess that you do not have unique meta tags on every single page, so you can go ahead and generate those dynamically if you do them smartly. So you can say something like, get more information about the insert museum name, which is a premier museum in insert state that museum is in, that has existed since insert established date here, so that you can make the title tags so that they're unique, but without having to actually go in there and write 1,000 title tags. By changing the title tags, by changing the meta tags, and by changing the URLs, the parameters in the URLs, you should be good.
And the thing is, it sounds, what Ray's saying sounds complicated about doing the dynamic insert, but it really isn't. If you go out and look, you know, you can do it in PHP, you can do it in ASP.
You can do it in PPC. Most of these guys are PPC guys. They should know how to dynamically insert keywords. So you do the same thing from a data feed for SEO.
Out of interest, how many people here have been doing affiliate marketing more than 12 months?
Sweet.
How many people here do it full time?
Okay.
Good number.
It's a good crowd.
One more thing about this site, in the HTML, the actual HTML document, the sidebar, the left sidebar, is served before the content, and that's the equivalent of trying to jump with ankle weights on. The content has to be served first. It should, you give the unique content of that page to Google first, and follow up with any like repeating elements on your site afterwards. So it's a common markup flow on a 3-column layout like this with the contents in the middle. It's just one thing I would recommend.
So you have a tech guy that deals with all this, right?
Oh, I hate that.
I'm the marketing girl, so.
You got?
AmericanBulldogSecurity.com. I'll let you go over the split link, Pap, on the redirect there.
American Bulldog Security.
I talk too much.
Now, is this local? Is it, whose site is this one?
Oh,
Is this
sorry. Yeah,
local?
whose site?
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you're doing bulldog security, I mean, if you've got guys with guns or you're surrounding houses, whatever, what sort of security you're offering and what's the reach?
Wireless alarm systems.
Wireless alarm systems, so you can install them anywhere in the U.S.? Oh, they're self-installed. You drop ship a little box and they plug it in and good to go, and you monitor it online?
Self-monitoring.
It has guns too.
But okay, you're selling a product that's self-install, self-monitoring?
Right.
Okay.
You call up to six people. You can put your phone number in, police or whoever you want.
Oh, okay.
And you could use a professional service too if you want.
Now I've got bad news and good news and bad news
Is
again.
yours scrolling on the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this has been scrolling on the bottom the whole time that I've
No,
been.
mine's scrolling on the bottom too.
Oh, okay.
Like really.
So the bad news is by having that redirect where it goes to AmericanBulldogSecurity.com/servlet/storefront, people, when they tend to link to your website, they're going to link to your website with whatever your root URL is. They're not going to add that extra servlet/storefront. So what you're going to do is that when people link to you, some people are going to link to the .com without all that stuff on the end, and then you're running it through a redirect. So technically, if you're running it through a 301, and I'll check that in a minute, if you're running it through a 301, you should be transferring any of the link popularity that's going to the root.com to whatever you're redirecting it to.
Can you pull up the robots file?
But you lose a little bit in the transfer. The good news is nobody links to you yet, so it shouldn't be much of a problem. The bad news is that nobody links to you. So
Putting little notes like that to the search engines amuses everybody on this panel, but they don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And it always gives the chance of it screwing up.
Yeah.
I mean, stick to the rules of the robots text file, otherwise it mightn't work.
I'm late. Sorry. You need links. Like you need links. I can't tell because of the resolution on here, but is the website really that big?
It's scrolling on my machine. I'm on an 800 by 600, but it's still scrolling.
Yeah, it's scrolling because a couple of their purchase pages, the Dropbox information that comes down just shoots out like amazingly.
Like the Dropbox where you click on it, it's got information in it. Some of the strings in there are like 300 characters long, and that sticks way out off the right edge of the page.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you should look at it on different size screens and do some browser cross-compatibility check. Again, that's not necessarily an SEO function. It's more of a usability function. But if people can't use the site, that kind of defeats the whole purpose.
What is that?
PDF.
So like a user manual for for that particular product? Yeah, like in all, are you selling the products, or are you pulling this from a data feed?
Selling.
Okay, so you actually own the products. This data feed is only in use by you. Okay. The majority, like you could use a better site design. I'm sure that there's a lot of by that I just mean like so that it's smaller and actually fits on the page. I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff that we could mention, but like in all honesty, you have 30 links. Like that has to be your number one.
Most of them are directory links, and not that we don't love the directory people, but you need some more there.
Yes.
What the?
Well, you create content that you pass out to e-zines, with links and, the usual stuff. I mean, doing link building is, you can do a Google search and you most probably see her name number 1, and his name number 3 and 4. But yeah, I mean, it's a basic process for building links. You want to provide, you give content to other people that isn't exact content that you have. Maybe 2 paragraphs that are written slightly differently than the paragraphs that you have in your own article. You give them out to read more.
You shortcut taker. No, I would say like, okay, so if this were my site, and again, this is off the top of my head, right? But you'd want to create link bait pieces that were kind of like the top 10 most lucrative home burglaries of all time, and do some research on people who broke into other people's houses and managed to get away with a lot of money as a result of it. The other thing that you might want to do is contact sites that are single mom websites and say, listen, I have an article about 9 ways to keep single moms safe. And you include your product as one of those ways, include 7 other random things that don't compete with you as the other ways. You link to everybody, don't get greedy. Link to everybody so that it's a good piece, and give them those types of articles. You can go to, I don't know if your product's green or not, but you could do some type of thing of 5 green ways to protect your home this summer when people are going to be leaving their doors open and their windows open, because if you're green, you're probably not running an air conditioner, you're probably doing everything you can to try and get stuff in naturally. So there's a ton of different ways that you can, I call it horizontally attaching your product to another industry. So just because you sell sporting goods and just because you sell alarm systems, and when you hear that about link development, people will go, well, how am I going to get somebody, camera? How am I going to get somebody to link to, oh, that's, trust me, I'm good, I haven't gone further than that. But how do you get somebody to link to an alarm system site? And it's just all about being creative and going out there and finding ways to tap into other markets and either offer them content with like the single mom site, or doing something that's highly targeted, like, top home, burglaries, or
100 highest security buildings in the world, or things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the type of stuff that you're going to find that the mainstream will have interest in, the link to you, and then what it does is it makes that page, that content on is really strong. And the legitimate way is that you just let your link juice pass to the main page naturally. There's other ways to deal with it, but I would recommend doing it the legit way.
Do you know anything about a site named Rapidador.com? They're linking to you in some questionable ways. I'm not really sure why they're doing that. It's something we can't show up there. There are some odd things, so look at that later.
A lot of porn.
Yeah, a lot of porn.
Jessica Moore's
porn,
naked.
just porn and poker and all sorts of stuff, and I'm not sure why they're
Is it a
doing
scraper, or? I don't want to pull it up on this.
No.
It looks scrapey. Also, you should look up some security, like people who are writing about home security, that kind of thing. Like, look up the enthusiasts and try to connect with them.
I'm a big fan of article submission sites.
Mediafire.
Write an article, go to some of the bigger sites. eZine Articles is a great place to get some good initial links in. How much control do you have with pro stores?
I'm not sure.
Yeah? Because I'd be interested to see. Have you ever thought of, it's a generated site, it's kind of like a site builder type thing. Have you ever looked into possibly like moving off of that and building out your own site?
I would, I'm just not technically inclined, so I'm just not sure how to go about doing it.
Yeah, find a competent web developer.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
What do you think about submitting the same articles as several different articles?
So it's going to depend. I know we have differing views. You go first.
I'm of the opinion that it does not work as well because they're going to count the link from the first one. I just think it's worthwhile going through and writing a different article for each of the sites.
Now,
opinion.
I would do that if I were submitting it to a quality site. So like if I'm actually submitting it to a blog with readership, I'm going to make sure that I only submit one article to them. Now, that said, may I rewrite the article on two different topics for two different, or the same topic for two different sites? Yeah, we might do that. As far as like the free article sites, if you're asking about those, what we found is that you get limited benefit from those. So after you've gotten yourself a few links, you're really not going to get much more benefit. But one of the things that we have seen that seems to help is if you change the title and the description on every single site when you submit the article. So you leave the article exactly the same, but you change the title and you change the description of the article because it changes the inbound link to the article as far as the search engines see. So it changes it up slightly, and we'll usually change up the links within the article so that we're not linking to the same things from each article, but the content the same. But again, once you do that 3 or 4 times, you're not really going to get much more benefit from the free article
Looking to get some benefit from article directory sites, look to see who submit an article there. Don't make it your AP. See who picks that article up. If they are a quality site, go approach them, see if they'll take a second article from it that you're writing just for them. When you're writing articles, I like to submit more like one a month and try and change the inbound anchor text. Don't always make it so that it's your primary anchor text. Change it, mix it up every couple months so that you see who's doing it. Make sure that there's a unique string. You can track who's actually using this article because some people won't link to you the right way. And you can see, even if somebody takes your article without authorization, if it's a decent site, I'd go and offer them another free article if I think I can get a link out of it. There's probably only
Yes,
a
we
handful
do.
of article directories that you'd really use. Easy Articles is the big one.
You know what you do? Go to somebody that you see is doing a lot of article marketing like that, that's ranking well. Go through their backlinks, do a link domain search in Yahoo. Don't do it via Site Explorer, guys. By the way, I'm sure you guys have been watching me do this on Yahoo. So when you do a search on Yahoo for link domain and it automatically forwards you to Yahoo Search Explorer. I don't trust Yahoo Search Explorer. I'm a little paranoid. So if you put a space on the end and just put a dash, it overrides Site Explorer and it'll just show it to you in regular Yahoo. So what I would do is I would go to a site that is that you see benefiting from that, or at least that you think is ranking well, you think they're benefiting from these articles. I would do a link domain search on Yahoo. I would set it to show 100 results, and I would pick up any of the free article sites that are within those first 100 results. If they're not within the first 100, and that's assuming that they have at least a couple hundred links. If they're not within the first 100, then I wouldn't bother with them. Is that just cooking? Okay. Who owns cooking.com?
What? Cooking.com?
Yeah, Google's link checker is historically, like, it's a known fact. It only shows a sample of links, so it'll just randomly show you whatever links that it feels like showing you and won't show you all the links. If Yahoo knows about the links, trust us, Google knows about the links. The only thing to be careful of in Yahoo is Yahoo does show no follow links, and it also shows redirects in backlink searches. So, yep. Is there really somebody here with cooking.com? Oh, okay. What are you trying to rank for?
I've never seen that. It actually makes sense, but if you submit to Google You've got a lot of duplication in your robots file, like you're blocking out /checkout, and then you're blocking out /checkout shopping cart, /checkout path option. You don't need all that stuff. Once you've hit the root directory, it's not going to pick up the other stuff underneath. Same thing with account.
Sorry, hold on one second.
You want to see order?
Whoa, how did that hit?
Let's see how much shit with the head stuff. Well, yeah, that's a pick.
Wow. I would have expected with 500,000 links, you'd be doing a little better.
How's the URL? How's it look?
That's, they're checking that, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know, no worries.
I mean, the markup is bad. The markup is bad.
It's tables.
Yeah, it's table-based. There's a lot of like empty spaces. Like for site, I assume this is probably a pretty high traffic site. I mean, it's an excellent domain. There's a lot of dead space in the HTML file. I mean, like a big site like this is serving a lot of pages should strive to be as lean as possible on the HTML end of things. That saves costs everywhere. But in addition to that, there's a lot of inline CSS in the code. There's a lot of inline JavaScript. All these things are like anchor weights. When you try to load a page, you know, it drags down the speed, it drags down the performance, affects usability. These are all like cardinal sins of markup.
No alts or titles on, there's no alts or titles on any of the links or images.
I see some people have submitted some pages to digs and they've gotten 1 or 2 digs. Are those people that you know doing it, or is that just random people submitting stuff? Because it doesn't look like it's be pages that anybody would dig at all. Like poached pears with maple ginger cream, white chocolate, coconut, macadamia nut, you know.
Getting me hungry.
They're you know, that's cool recipes, but it's not going to work at all with social media stuff. If you're going to do the social media stuff, you know, you want to do like crazy old recipes or, you know, 10 recipes that'll give you a heart attack or, you know, that kind of stuff.
Does the site have a blog on it?
No.
I would probably definitely recommend.
Yeah,
a blog.
you
do some
could
great
kill with a blog.
bait with this, definitely.
So you have a lot of weird indexing issues. So you've got I guess a report recipe error form that's being indexed over and over and over again on different URLs, which is just a generic page. So you're feeding a lot of pages of duplicate content in that respect, and it's coming from the recipe folders. I'm trying to figure out why. I don't think you're being crawled that well in the recipe folders. So sorry, I'm looking into why that is now. But that's one problem.
You've only got one sitemap mentioned in your robots file. Is that you really only have one sitemap? Because I'm assuming you have a lot of items and you've got a lot of recipes.
The sitemap, I believe, links to an index file. Right now, we're trying to redo them.
There's like there's an XML sitemap that it looks like you're feeding them. Yeah, sitemap.xml, and technically you're only supposed to get 65,000 or so in there, but I have to imagine you're probably pretty close over there with the number of recipes and number of products. I might try breaking some of that out a little bit, you know, just to make it so that it's a little easier for them to crawl. And sometimes it's one of the strategies that I like to do is I'll isolate all new pages into its own separate little sitemap and just ping them more rapidly with that. This way they get indexed a little bit faster.
So
I would also go for, I would say, you know, allow users to review recipes with a star rating system, and then use the markup to hopefully, you know, pull it through into the search engine. You get those stars underneath for reviews, help you out a lot.
So recipes are the things that you're trying to get more rankings for that you're not ranking for?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think link bait is probably your better way to go because, you know, there aren't many exciting recipes that people are ever going to link to because, you know, it's going to have to be a really, really great meatloaf recipe for people to have to decide to link to it. So you're going to have to do some things that are crazy, cool, or interesting and, you know, work the word recipe and some of her higher level keywords like, you know, 13 recipes you never thought you'd try with chicken or something like that. So this way you can get the chicken recipes in there and this way you can start ranking for that sort of stuff. That's how I would get from here to there.
Or with that, you know, with the new blog, you write an article, that article has links to your interior recipe pages. You try to get that article to link, you know, you might have to go about it kind of side door, but I think that would work.
So you guys have a ton of indexing issues. I think one of the big reasons that your recipe pages aren't ranking as well is because it's getting, every time that Google crawls you, it is getting fed so much duplicate content and so many pages that mean absolutely nothing. So the problem is that they're indexing one version of what they think a recipe is, and then they index another version, which is the real version. That's the version that you want them to index, but because it's too similar to the one they've already got that's crappy, has a crap title tag, it's never gonna rank. So like if you look at inside your recipes folder, you've got, same thing as with that error form, you have something called search lists. So you're feeding Google search results. It doesn't want the search results. It only wants the individual recipes. So you've got to make sure that you're blocking Google from getting those. Same thing, you have something, I guess, a feature, and I'm assuming most of your recipes become a feature at some point in time. So Google crawls it, gets the feature URL. You've got 602 of them that have feature URL strings. Like in all honesty, I'm going to tell you that you probably need an SEO to go completely through the entire site architecture. This is a big mess, and it's going to take a lot of robots texting and no indexing and stuff like that to figure out to get your recipe section not only crawled better, but to get the pages. Because again, the issue that you have with something like this is look at what the title tags are: recipe for easy, quick, like holidays. So if that's where it picks up your beef stroganoff recipe, that's the page that it thinks is for your beef stroganoff recipe. But when somebody types in beef stroganoff recipe, that doesn't have it in the title tag. tags, so it moves you way down as far as where you can rank. Like in all honesty, I don't think that even if we had the whole hour to look at this site, this is like a week to 2 week project for a competent SEO. So
You've got a lot of stuff in the recipe URL. So you've got cooking.com recipes and more /recipes/ chicken and rice salad with pesto yogurt dressing recipe.aspx.
oh, and then there's ones with numbers in them and ones with feature and question marks.
You passed the level of
It
reason.
renders great for a human, so don't go home and fire your web developer. Like it renders great. I'm sure humans find this very useful. It's just that it needs, from a search engine standpoint, it absolutely needs to be controlled. It's out of control.
Do you have a recommended amount of characters you should use in the title tag?
They say title tag, they clip at 70. If you're looking at URLs, Google says, after 4 or 5, they stop paying attention to that stuff. That's not to say that stuff won't rank longer.
Folders, you mean, correct?
Yeah, after 4 or 5 different words. And again, if you put a number string in there, that will count as a word. Never put little words like and, the, of, to, that sort of stuff. Keep that stuff out of there.
And this is just me being anal retentive too, but use proper casing in your URLs. I have seen rare instances, and it was funny because you remember when you told me there's no way, and I showed it to you. I've seen rare instances where that will get indexed as recipes in more lowercase and uppercase, and it's the same type of canonical issue as the index.html and the slash.
You're on ASP server, so that's really a danger. It will actually index that way. So if somebody links to you with an opposite case recipes, then it'll just crawl through, and if it builds off that way, then you just started a nightmare crawl.
My anal retentive preference is always lowercase. I change that on any site I work on.
We got a question there in the back.
A real quick question, how important do you feel it is to put keywords within the URL?
I mean, you want to optimize everything.
I would put them
why
there
wouldn't
if you can, but there's a limit, unless there's some reason that you don't want to put them there, but putting them there is always going to help, but you don't want to just put them in there just to stuff them in there.
See, in other words, like with this URL string right here, where it's cooking.com, I don't know what the N more is, but I would just have that cooking.com / lowercase recipes / lowercase chicken / and then the name of the actual recipe instead of some number. So
Yeah.
I'm just thinking with recipes, at some level, you're as much as you want to, if you keep the chicken or something there, the chicken or the beef or the dinner or whatever you're going to do, but at some point you're just going to have to introduce a numbering system because, you're going to have how many chicken pesto recipes are you going to have? Chances are you'll build up more than one over the lifetime of the site.
right, but as far as like the root file folder,
Yeah, the root file folder, I would keep the keyword there, but at a certain level, I think numbers is just going to keep things shorter as much as you don't want to have all that extra stuff on there.
So redirect, or else they're gonna lose whatever little they have.
Now, are you the only one that's creating these recipes, or are people submitting them to you?
We just started taking it for submissions, but generally the content's been.
Because then you'll end up having a lot of people writing, variations of beef stroganoff or whatever, and you'll have problems. So yeah, numbering system may be better.
One of the other things was just brought up here up front, which he had said, do you need to redirect all those? And that's why I said I would not attempt this in-house. You guys need to bring in an SEO because all of those pages, you don't want to just delete them because the problem is depending on how long they've been up, people may be linking to them. This is going to be like a big job. Like it's a big mess and you are going to lose a lot of link popularity if you don't do it correctly. So don't go home and just get rid of those pages. You need to make sure that you actually have like a migration plan in place to go from the old URL structure to the new URL structure.
How are you engaging with social media? Are you doing anything like Twitter? I'd love to see you start pushing out recipes a day, the recipe of the day, and I'd love to see you start linking to people who post pictures of the recipes of the day and cool stuff like that. So that people say, hey, look what this person did, and if I can get my thing up there, I'm going to use their recipe, and you just get this whole big snowball effect once people figure out, hey, if they'll put up my link in Twitter if I cook their recipe, so if I help self-promote them, I'll promote myself, and it just snowballs.
Yeah. I mean, we post links about recipes on Twitter. I know I personally get a lot of response to mine. I'm just like throwing it out there. Like I don't even care. And I get a lot of response to that. I know you get response when you talk about your cooking. Like,
Michael posts
that.
pictures.
Like, this is an obvious engagement point that you definitely should take advantage of.
The other thing is your backlinks are really, really good. So I think the majority of your issue is with your site structure. So
I've seen the reason I bring up the social thing is I've seen a lot of evidence that passing URLs through toolbars, through the social media stuff, really, really helps with the indexing. So that's why I think if you push that out there a day, and you can, and to build that follower list, you're kind of starting a little late to the game. So you may have to do some contests and incentives and pick things that people like, give away a free cooking pan or something like that.
just make sure it's not worth a few $100 and that it's more of a token.
You know, obviously follow whatever contest rules and don't make linking to anybody a requirement and don't violate any Google gift for links policies or any of that nonsense.
Or the FTC.
Or the FTC.
Whose love systems? Is it, is it, all right, well, it's already there now. So I don't think,
NSFW.
Yep.
Is it?
is it not safe for work? Who is this?
That's safe for work.
For your work or everybody's work?
What are we on?
Work it. baby.
This is awesome. I know exactly what you do. I can tell that you want me to click here to download a plugin. So I'm going to assume that that's like Flash or, what do you do?
We're a dating coach.
Pearson, you want to come moderate that?
Oh my God. No.
That's a YouTube video.
So you teach guys how to you teach guys how to talk to or seduce or date beautiful women.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, you should be using Twitter. Stay off the web.
Facebook chat's good for me.
If you could teach them how to program a site that I could actually see before you teach them how to seduce the women in the office, that would be awesome. So what do you do? Aside, like, what are you trying to sell?
Well, we have live seminars and we have products like ebooks.
So what's your top keyword?
Dating advice, dating tips,
Flirting? Do you run PPC? Yeah, I was going to say, if you do, don't bid on those keywords because you're going to lose a lot of money because they're not going to convert. You need to do some keyword research and figure out like what your actual targeted keywords should be because flirting is very, the likelihood that somebody's typing in flirting and then is going to go, oh, an info course on how to seduce women. Yeah, I'll shell out $69 for that or however much it is. Sorry, that was
How are you getting the majority of your inlinks?
we post a lot of articles on other magazine websites like Maxim, FHM.
All right.
We have blogs.
You're using, it looks like you're using linkpartners.com.
Pickup artist skills.
Linkpartners.com.
You got a resource directory down there with a link to us going on.
Oh, we'll tell you the one rule about the panel too. If you get busted doing something that you're not supposed to do, just don't lie and we won't have to out you and prove that they see what they see.
Yeah, that just don't go there.
Well, you rank for pickup artist skills. Yeah.
And again, is it local? Where are you holding these seminars?
All over the world.
All over the world?
Yeah.
Are you in local? Are you is he in Google local? Verify through Google that you've got a business address. They'll send you a little card, and then just start popping addresses all over the U.S. that you've got, dating seminars.
Okay, I'm going to ask this
Look
question
for your
in a special way. And are you doing any creative, aggressive link advertising?
Like buying blog posts on. You the affiliate manager? Yeah, I'd talk to your SEO. Because if there were a search engine rep in the room right now, you guys would be in a lot of trouble. So as far as you guys are buying links off a lot of crappy blogs. You're basically going to a blogger and saying, write an article about dating and link to us and we'll give you $15.
Go to the homepage.
Their
Of the
homepage?
actual site, yeah. Click at the top, link to us.
And the bad part about it is right now the FTC is really starting to look at people writing reviews on blogs for pay.
Yeah. Also, that link partners, I would watch that because a lot of the sites that use that,
That's a footprint.
yeah, it's a big footprint.
It's a massive footprint.
And also, a lot of sites that use that tend not to have the best links themselves.
Now, my question would be, where are you linking to them from?
You're missing the social game completely. There's a ton of potential there, like all those Maxim, the men's magazines, all that stuff. You see them, they're all over the digs, the StumbleUpons, doing all sorts of crazy kooky stuff. That's where you should be getting your
Yeah,
links,
that's what
staying
I'm
away
thinking.
from the link creative acquisition and link trading partners kind of stuff.
And you might want to visually change the site up a little. Make it look a little bit more like Maxim. You
Maybe
know,
a
get-
sexy girl on the guy,
Yeah.
like a geeky guy getting a sexy girl on the
Skin
front.
to win.
Sorry, we're looking for something here. So see, here's the issue with your link directory. So you're telling people that if they link to you, you link back to them.
So we're finding where your link directory is.
But you don't seem to have an open spot where you're linking back to them. So my guess would be is that you have something hidden in your SEO thinks he's very clever, and he has made it so that the search engines aren't indexing your link pages. However, that link partners thing down at the bottom is enough of a footprint to catch you. Like in all honesty, and I know somebody's going to go write a blog post about me on Monday and talk about what a bitch I am, but I seriously get a new SEO. Like, put out one ad, get a new SEO, because this guy is doing you no favors. And again, like, I can guarantee you if there was a search engine rep in this room right now, your site would be under a penalty.
Look at, they're taking, you can put any characters.
I'm a little afraid.
Oh, so they have no 4. Yeah, also, you might want to have your SEO get a 404 page, because right now you can request any page on your site and it renders.
And they're getting indexed.
So you have a zillion pages. Awesome. We've reached infinity.
Just redirect them all now.
Yeah.
Do a 301 of all those non-existent pages.
Question. Where do you find great SEO?
Where do you find great SEOs? I think they're all up here, except for me.
No, like I'll tell you, you're going to find the best and most competitive SEOs in the affiliate industry, because frankly, if a credit card, like we have this issue. So I co-own an SEO firm, like on the side. I've been an affiliate for 10 years. That's how I've made all my money for the last 10 years. Consulting firm was a venture with 2 partners. And one of the issues that you'll find is, like, if somebody comes to my consulting firm and it's a credit card company and they say, well, we want to pay you $15,000 a month to do our SEO, to do our link development and get us to rank for credit cards. Well, number 1 rank for compare credit cards is worth $30,000, $40,000 a month. So why would I take your 15? If I have the ability to rank for that, I'm going to rank myself. So to be honest with you, the best SEOs are in the most competitive affiliate arenas. Outside of that, you'll find a lot of people that own SEO firms for whatever reason. One of the biggest things that I can tell you to look out for is that if they don't talk to you about links and not about buying links, if they don't talk to you about developing links, if all they want to talk to you is about your on-page stuff, and for $1,000 a month, they're going to run you a report and they're going to run 1,500 keywords and they're going to tell you where you rank on it, and they're going to tweak your pages and add those keywords to your pages. Ask them what they're doing to develop links to your site. And if they tell you that you don't need links, you can tell them I said to camera. If they tell you don't need links, they're lying. If they tell you that they get tons of links, they're going to sign you up for forums and blogs and everything else.
300 directories. And
basically, if they don't come back at you with an idea like some of the stuff that was spit out for him right there with his security systems, it's probably not the type of firm that you want to be working with. Again, buying links works. Spamming still works. Cross-linking 30 sites still works. The problem is that if you get caught doing it, you're going to lose your site. So you need to be really careful when you're hiring an SEO, because if you hire the wrong one, they can either create the indexing mess that cooking.com has, or they can create a possible penalty situation. Like, I'll tell you, like the cooking.com thing, it's way cheaper to hire a competent SEO from the beginning than it is to hire one to come in and fix the mess that another one made after the fact. So
I think that's a good question, though. Where do you find competent SEOs? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. This is my opinion, but success now, like if you're going to commit to running a website, you need to have somebody on your staff who knows. You need to have in-house ninjas. You can't be relying on outsourcing. You're going to get screwed. I promise. You'll get burnt no matter what. You need a designer, you're going to get screwed. You need an SEO, you're going to get screwed. I promise. So, you should really seek, or at least have somebody in your company, learn as much as possible about these things. I mean, you are operating in this arena anyway.
that's not foolproof though either, because I have a feeling his SEO is in-house. So
I do whatever, but I don't really do that much. So
I mean, a lot of the times I'll do an analysis of the website for people, show
And make
where
them
everything
fix
is,
it.
and then it becomes like a guide to what you need to do.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
then I offer, I'll do it for this, or it's pretty basic.
You for like cooking.com, you don't need to hire an SEO firm to come in and act like they just need to go in and architecture it and basically tell your team how to do it so that they don't make the same mistake again as well. So it's kind of like getting it fixed and being taught at the same time. But no, like I wish that I could tell you like where can you find it's like trying to find a competent mechanic. Like There's a lot of good ones out there, and there's a lot of scumbags out
He's
there.
got a lot of cards. I think he wants to give away.
I mean, those who can usually do for themselves. That's the issue. Those who are really good are working for themselves.
The question I have is, where do you consider a gazillion of SEO sites out there? Just like, there's some good web design sites and like Chris's sites, I think.
You've got.
I'm not for hire.
You got Search Engine Watch. You got Webmaster World. You've got.
But there's like, who do you go to? There's not like.
You never take anybody's word as gospel. Always try everything yourself. Just don't try it on your bread and butter site. Set up a little blog, set up a site, and see what happens when you do things to it. Half the stuff that we post on our blogs is us playing with the search
It
engines.
seems like it comes really naturally for you guys, and I try my best, but I'm not gonna be as good as you.
Where do you live? See, the thing is, you want to get involved in the industry.
Locally.
If that's what you're doing. And, develop a crew of friends that work in this industry. I mean, all of us know each other. We've known each other forever. We reach out, we goof on each other, whatever. But we have that community. And that's what you need to do. You need to step into the community and get involved. Because there's going to be things that you know, that anyone in this room knows that we don't. Because you've come from a different angle.
And I don't care how good of a game somebody talks, you want to see results. I will tell you that when people come to us and they ask us for, examples, and like we don't give out our clients, but I can give them 15 affiliate sites I own in competitive industries that obviously I've SEO'd. So you want to make sure that's going to be the biggest thing. I don't care if they're on this stage. I don't care if they're on the next stage. I don't care if they are the lead editor for like one of the biggest SEO publications on the planet. If they can't show you some sites that they have gotten ranked for, and companies like Coca-Cola.com don't count. Big brands have massive advantages over the rest of us. It's what we call a cream puff client when you get a big brand that comes in, because you basically just have to make sure that their site isn't completely screwed and they'll rank. So you want to make sure that they actually can show you ranks, and things like Monkey Ball SEO in Louisville, Alabama does not count. Like they need to actually be able to show you ranks in competitive industries. So that's going to be the biggest factor. I don't care what you've read from them. I don't care what their blog says. I don't care who's called them an expert or how long they've been in the industry. Ask them to show you the money. Like that's.
Is it possible to just take any site and push it to number one? You should create a thesis.
I know.
There's a few industries where I would say no. There's a few terms where I would say no. You're never going to outrank Wikipedia for Wikipedia using legit tactics. So it depends, but for the most part, like I don't think that there's any industry aside from maybe 2 or 3 that I could think of off the top of my head where you couldn't very
Well, it depends on how much
very
money
much
you've got to
expect
spend.
with a good SEO to put yourself in the top 5.
It's killing me because like John Wayne's dead son outranks me. It's Michael Wayne and I'm Michael Wayne.
You're going to have with celebrities, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah, ask Michael Gray. He's got this issue.
Anytime you have a name that you share with a celebrity, you're going to have an issue. That's I have a DJ in the United Kingdom who I have a problem with. I have a Bob Dylan's songwriter compatriot who writes books I have a problem with. I have a soccer player in the UK. I have a 1970s TV star I have a problem with.
If your name is Angelina Jolie, you're seriously like reputation
just change your name.
manager-wise. Yeah, it'll be easier.
Do you really need to rank for your name? That's a little egotistic.
I totally want to rank for my name. Are you kidding me?
But I mean,
If that's really important and you've got a celebrity, you're going to have to make the decision. You're just, at some point it may be easier to just go with a nickname version of yourself.
I mean, unless that's your company name, why bother? It just happens, over time, the more you do on the web, you pop up.
I like seeing myself there. You guys can say whatever.
Oh my God.
I'll admit it. They won't admit it, but I ego surf.
If you have a generic name, you should do like some kind of creative amalgam of 2 words or something like that. I just feel like that works better. It's inbuilt brand, it works.
Yeah, I mean, mate, come on. How many people know you as, Grey Wolf as opposed to Michael Gray?
Right, right.
All right, as we're doing that, with Love Systems, one more thing. To discuss. You have to lock down your /administrator with Joomla. That should be very heavily.
Whoa.
Right now,
Oh, it's on Joomla?
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I can go right down to lovesystems.com/administrator. You need to IP lock that, so only your internal network can actually reach that. Joomla is
the robots,
yeah.
Don't.
Joomla is very, very, very easily hacked.
Yeah, don't use Joomla. If you're going to use a CMS, like an off-the-shelf CMS like that, use WordPress with that theme. What's that theme's name, Pearson?
I don't know. I don't have anything to do with it.
Thesis. There you go. Thank you. So
I can't mention it.
the people in the back are yelling at us, so I think we're like. Past
Are we
our
getting the
time.
red light?
Well, she
We're
came
getting the
by
hook?
like 5. She came by 10 minutes ago and went.
Was it
So-
message?
It's 4:04.
Can't be sitting back here.
I don't know. I don't know.
Frank and I aren't being rude, but we have to catch a plane.
Oh, you have to catch plane?
Yes, we have to catch a plane.
I've never seen this.
Not the same plane.
Somebody told me about this last night.
All right, guys, thanks. And can we thank Pearson for being such a fantastic moderator?
Thanks, Ray.
You're welcome.